مرحبا واهلا وسهلا فيكم بالحلقه الثامنه لكودر فويس او ما يعرف بجبال الهيمالايا از صوت المبرمج. معنا اليوم كوستا the one and only. كيفك كوستا؟
ماشي الحال، كيف الشباب؟
معنا حسن. طبعا حسن ما بيقف كتير بحب البرنامج، من اول مستمعين. حسن كيفك حسن؟ شو اخبارك؟
اوكي ماشي الحال تمام.
كوستا، نحن بنعرفك من السلاك جروب. هلا حنحكي عن السلاك جروب where we all meet، والاول اودينسز تبعولنا كانوا من السلاك جروب. مفروض انت اللي عملت سلاك جروب من فتره، بس معك طلع كذا شخص يعني من الكوميونتي نحن ما كنا عارفين فيهم، طلعوا مودريتورز. ما مشكله. خبرنا عن حالك كوستا، وقول للعالم عن الجروب اللي عم نحكي فيه نحن. تفضل.
ميرسي عودي وحسن. So definitely the Slack group is where we all meet. So at the beginnings يعني رح نحكي شوي عن حالي، من وين جاي وشو بعمل واتسترا.
ايه بعدين نحكي عن سلاك. ماشي
cool. So بلشت اشتغل around the web and with technologies around year 2000 أو قبل، بس professionally around year 2000 لما كنت عم بتعلم بهاي غازيان. So بلشت as a network administrator and webmaster at St. Mary's Orthodox College براس بيروت.
لما كان في شيء تايتل اسمه webmaster.
كان في شيء اسمه webmaster. So I used to handle the web and newsletters the old way. And at the same time I was studying MIS at Haigazian. During which around year 2000 تعذبت شوي لحتى لي بلش لحتى لي نقل الميجر اللي بدي اتخصص فيه ولاقي شو البيبرز وهيك. So year 2002 I picked up a book around PHP and I started teaching myself PHP and MySQL. لحتى لي اعمل project around to help students to guide them to decide on what to study next, what are the opportunities, and to share class material and studying material. So that was very, very old. I used the LAMP stack back then. It was around Linux tools, etc. So it was very interesting. This was before I took programming courses بالجامعة. Fast forward 2004 كنت بعدني عم بدرس وبشتغل full time. I was promoted to web analyst بثلاث مدارس كنت عم بشتغل فيهم. So بلشت هونيك اتعاطى أكتر مع الأودينس كسوفتوير واتعلم أكتر عنه. And seriously program. عملت مثل Q&A app to help like sort out bugs and report issues and reduce the time IT support are spending with each employee. I also helped build the first educational system for the school. صاروا students من البيت مع الأهل تبعهم يتعاطوا مع teachers, etc. And I built like a search engine in Arabic, etc. وبعض التولز بعدهم لهلا موجودين وعم يستعملوها.
هيدا اللي قلت عنه Q&A أصلا QA قصدك؟ quality assurance. أنا قلت عن الbugs.
It's أكثر it's an app to automate troubleshooting and reporting issues.
بقلب هيدي المدرسة.
Yes. So الستاف مثلا عم بيستعملوا.
What we now consider إنه أكيد في system هيك بكل.
بس إنه قبل كان تلفنوا على الاي تي اوفيس مثلا بليز بعت لي معلقه البرينتر etc. So we started using the app to reduce this time and to free ourselves لأنه صرنا نكبر كمدارس to free the IT support من مثلا إذا معلقه البرينتر بركي إذا طفتها ودوتها المعلم يمشي الحال. الشيء كان
like a knowledge base يعني.
It's more of a knowledge base, absolutely.
Okay.
Knowledge base. I lost this word, so the term.
Go on.
So year 2006 I graduated. كنت ديجا صرت عم بشتغل فترة بهذا الدومين. I'm looking for new jobs, etc. وديجا تخرجت صار لي سنة عم دور على شغل وهيك. وإجت الحرب بال 2006. I was like, this is it. I don't want to be around here. I jumped on a ship, went to Cyprus, Greece, stayed there for 3 months working on different freelance projects, and then landed in Midlands, UK, بضيعة اسمها Spalding. where my uncle lives. So when I got there, لأنه
One second, Spalding هن اللي بيعملوا باسكتبول؟
لا definitely
بدي اسال اذا خاص بركي من الضيعه.
بلا I think so man.
No,
شو هالاسم الغريب اللي يسموه؟
Let's Google.
it's
I actually want to know.
no it's not, but
I'm
it's
gonna bet you.
it's very well known for the flower festival in the Midlands, and it was part of I remember very well. It was part of Holland. That's why كيف exchange between tulips or flowers or etc. But I don't think it has anything to do with the basketball.
We're gonna find out.
Okay.
كمل.
So
انا لقيت شيء باسكتبول شوب ليك فيلج.
yeah, but I think the Spalding Bowl is
هي شركة
American
اسمها
rather
Spalding.
than. No, it's not.
Might
It's not
be.
the same one. So back there, I was in the Midlands and I started looking for jobs. أول attempt لإلي, I went to London to work as a network administrator for a multinational petrol company. So I was the network administrator for the London office and dealt a lot with BlackBerry enterprise systems, the early days. And then I was applying and looking for different jobs. I really liked programming rather than network administration. So I landed a job قريب شوي على الميدلاندز بين لندن وبين الميدلاندز مطرح ما كنت قاعد ب the public sector, a district council اسمه Finland. Over there, the primary job was to migrate legacy apps using PHP, Java, كل شيء consumer facing, to new CMS using Ruby on Rails. And this is where I first started using Ruby on Rails, and I got professional training from teachers and professionals.
حلو.
كيف كان وضع روبي on Rails وقتها يعني؟
So it was the very early beginnings, and it was very, very hyped. The speed of building stuff, the environment around it.
هو هذا ما يعتبر إنه Web 2.0؟
لا ويب 2.0.
I think this was
at around the same
Yes,
time اللي
yes.
بلش يحكوا
الويب 2.0 معناتها هو الويب ابلكيشن مثل انه
They migrated.
فيسبوك وتويتر.
Yeah, sure,
هو
بس
كان
قصدي
يسمى ويب 2.0.
بس قصدي it came around at the same time and this was one of the first languages اللي بتخليك تعمل هيك quickly.
So in 2004, DHH or David Heinemeier Hansen, the creator of Ruby on Rails, عمل the famous 20 minutes, create your own blog in 20 minutes or something like that. And it started picking up. It was 2004, 2005. Oh, it might be 2005. But the thing is, it started like catching up and people like saw an opportunity like this. This framework has everything, all the best practices that we try to implement using our own code and frameworks, and it's all like very quick and using a really cool language that looks very much like English, and it has the developers' happiness and productivity at the core of it, with a lot of generators, etc. So everybody was piling up and migrating from Perl or Java or many other platforms. I know it was easy to work with, very hyped, etc. The community contributed a lot to make it robust بهذيك الأيام لأنه there were too many experts around it working with it, and they were helping others and creating podcasts, creating a screencast and pair programming. So it was like catching fire.
طيب ضليتك حتوصل ضليتك UK يعني؟
So ضليتني ب UK هالفترة بس
كنت you just went there كان معك you had
So I'm originally
إقامة
Greek.
فيها؟
So no, I'm originally Greek. So as a European citizen, I
Schengen؟
no, I do have access to the UK.
لازم نبلش الحلقة ونستقبل المواطن الأوروبي.
مش عارفين إنك يوناني.
لا, it's fine. So
لاعب أجنبي إنه صديق.
It makes sense على فكرة اسمك أنا مرت خيي يونانية they have similar names يعني.
hey, so
ريتسا.
this is awesome. أيوة.
طيب لكن هيك قدرت توصل على UK so far. That's lucky by the way إنه عندك access لهيك محل. Why aren't you there هلا يعني؟ ما كنت بعيد.
So هلا بخبرك أكيد بنوصل للموضوع.
ان شاء الله.
على فكرة بس شغلة صغيرة، حابب يعني إذا حابب أعرف أكثر عن روبي أون ريل أدفانتج، ما حقطشك عن اللي عم تحكيهم هلا، بس إذا لبعدين نعطيها سكشن بعد شوي
absolutely.
ديتيلز، لأنه أنا شخصيا بيهمني هذا الموضوع وكتير بسمع قصص عنه، فحابب أعرف من شخص إنه أوريدي مشتغلها شو الأدفانتج، بشو أسرع، وأوريدي لأنك كنت تشتغل PHP إنه الكومباريزن somehow وهالقصص. بس ما حقطشك عن اللي عم تحكيهم يعني بعد شوي.
No problem. Yeah, definitely. Fast forward, قعدت سنة ونص بفنلاند District Council, and then I started looking for more. يعني I wanted to go into the private sector, and I started to look for more interesting roles. And one of the roles was software developer ب Wellcome Trust Sanger Institute, the production software unit, اللي هي second largest DNA sequencing facility in Europe. So it was a very interesting role. So I moved to the academic, more private sector where R&D is extensive and working with doctors, large data. They had their own data center back then. That was around 2008. I probably learned a lot from working with scientists and research-oriented people and interacting with lab staff, etc. لأنه we were collecting requirements لنقدر نبني software ليساعدهم يشوفوا الداتا تبع generated from sequencing DNA and decide whether to resequence it or pass it on to the next pipeline or the next team, etc.
كيف يعني sequencing؟
هذا موضوع تاني biology.
So yeah, sequencing DNA يعني بياخدوا samples.
تفهم من ال BA
لا كيف ترتيبهم ورا بعض
DNA.
هو في لونج
all patterns بيعطوها كاكسرسايز بالبروجرامينج I think بالartificial intelligence
بالجينوم
yeah.
yes. So
AB BA some TAG GAT
yeah. The sequence is very interesting. So they sequence DNA from different human beings إذا بدك أو living beings, okay, like a worm or organisms أو شو بعرفني the whale أو مش كل شيء human, and they worked on the human genome لأنه it was a very big project كمان. But it was more doing the nitty-gritty إذا بدك أو the small the research-oriented work rather than the studying. يعني كان في عدة teams كل حدا مثلا تمرق ال DNA بلاب معين بيعملوا لها sequencing بيمرقوا الريزلتس لحدا تاني ليطلع عليهم
to see إذا صار في human readable conclusion
ليعملوا analysis عليه ليعملوا comparison مع غير DNA etc. So إذا منه منيح بيرجعوا بيردوه على اللاب. So كان في كتير pipelines, many apps that were for teams sharing data and processing data between different teams etc.
شيء عملاق.
Absolutely, it was quite interesting.
عندي سؤال بس in your own experience شو حسيت الفرق يعني بين انك تتعامل مع let's say مع customers منهم كتير academic و scientific يعني كأند يوزر منهم هيك، وبعدين وقت بلشت تتعامل انت كسوفتوير بيرسون مع اشخاص الباك جراوند تبعهم ساينتفك واكاديميك، يعني هل لاحظت الكونسيرن تبعهم غير لما يكون عندهم بروبلم اليوزر اكسبيرينس، يعني الشيء اللي بيفكروا فيه غير هيدا لانه different type of people different audience.
Definitely the customers بالresearch center were very focused. يعني ما كان عندنا wide ما عندنا the whole world that we're addressing online. We're addressing scientists and they are already used to different type of interfaces and اشياء معينة لأنه their focus is to make things work لأنه they want to get on with their work and produce XYZ. So user experience was very essential and making things as easy as possible for them was quite at the core of it. هلا what helped us هو we were the first team بالinstitute إذا بدك that uses agile methodologies. So we use Scrum to actually iterate and improve all the time on the software we were building and the pipelines, which gave us a leverage on every other team available. لأنه كانوا يشتروا مثلا software from a supplier وعندهم license مجبورين يستعملوه and report all the bugs وينطروا لحتى لي يبعتوا لهم etc. نحن كنا أكتر عم interactive، كنا ناخد ال requirements, roll out a beta, we test it out in isolation, we take feedback, improve on it and then launch it. It was very iterative and it was very
كان
interesting.
تيم كبير هيك البروجرامرز كنتوا كم
So the team was around working on different projects within the same team. يعني في كتير applications كانوا بس around 12 developers. Some of them I was the youngest back then and the most senior were like 64, 60.
Graveyard.
And the guy who was the senior was the most humble person. I've learned so much from him. And
والله نيالك هيك you had such an opportunity.
it was definitely an opportunity.
It's not common يعني. عادة from my experience from people I know, they're thrown into the field only years will teach them. ما حيجي حدا dedicated that's going to teach them. It's rare. إلا إذا عن جد عندك structure قوي في senior معروف من هو his job is to sit with you until you know XYZ بس then again it would be until you know their system كيف بيشتغل مش بيعلمك اشياء عرفت شو نحن we call it trainee هون هنيك برا لا they work on you personally عرفت.
So the training wasn't all the time on the job لأنه part of being a production software team هو I attended a lot of conferences to learn more about topics and then you come back to the team and spread the knowledge around. But with this specific senior person he was amazing لأنه ولا مرة كان يعتبر حاله إنه عم بيعلم كان دايما يسأل أسئلة مثلا في شيء new trend or anything بيجي بيقعد معك بيقول لك can I see how you're working and then إذا أنت عايز شيء بيقول لك يعني let's schedule time and sit together.
هيك بهالصوت الحنون.
Absolutely بهذا الصوت الحنون برواق لا he's amazing. وكان في كذا حدا سينيور وكلهم كانوا هيك ما تنسى الانفايرمنت كان كله ريسيرش
كمان exactly they believe انه
الكالتشر كلها مش انه شخص
بالضبط they believe انه knowledge will reach a good result لإله they like people مش انه finish the project
question mark there بس
يحبوا الشخص
they were approachable at least yes. هلا fast forward after that 2009 I had to quit my job and come back to Lebanon for personal reasons and it was very hard to do. It was a very hard decision but
comparing lifestyles يعني ولا quality
لا بس I actually had to quit and come back. Coming back to here I had to start from zero in 2009 and then an ex-colleague of mine contacted me remotely and said there's an opportunity working on Papers app from residence, are you interested? I immediately jumped on this opportunity لأنه it was also related to research and my ex-colleague who was highly involved in this. So I was in charge of building the online social platform for Papers app, which was iTunes for PDF papers and research papers. So it's called Papers app and students or researchers use it to write their thesis, to read papers online, to leave notes on their papers or the papers that they are reading. It was all around academia and research papers. It still is. So اللي عملناه هو my role was to jump in as a platform developer and build the cloud side of this Mac OS X and iOS app to sync their PDFs on multiple devices and also create like collections that they can share with other researchers around institutes or research centers or universities whatsoever.
خبرنا هلا عن your actual project اجا من بعد هيدي اللي هو referred what you're most known for.
So I spent a year as CTO at مناقصات and then I went
it's
e-tendering platform كمان online.
What do you think of هذا الويب سايت اللي طلع من فترة it's bidding online على
Bid Affairs
قبله
قبله
في واحد Bid Affairs رجع طلع بعدين it's a bidding website فاللي بيصير هو إنه you bid on items actually I had a hack عليه هيدا هلا أخبرها you bid on items you bid on items اللي بيوصل آخر شيء على النهاية with the most number of bids I think هو اللي يعني whoever bids the last
I think I've heard of it I forgot the name
بتزيد
okay
بتزيد
yeah
okay so بيوصل بياخد الايتم whatever الإيشو هذا فيه الويب سايت كان يورجي interface of the last 10 people who bid. Okay? The last 10 people.
Yeah.
So you buy bidding points for a card, etc. حقه مصاري. تشتري جواب بتصير تصرفهم by pressing.
Yeah.
You press. Best you press, this is your voice. If you are the last person to press, you get the thing.
هن بيكونوا طلعوا حق القطعة.
طلعوا حق القطعة definitely طلعوا. We did the math, we did everything.
على فكرة it's like crowd funding بس بالعكس.
Yeah. Pay us for the money that we use to هذا and you get peanuts. And you get back the item بس you don't ما بتطلع balance يعني.
قد الواحد بده يكون بده الايتم اللي عم يشتري ليقعد.
لا ما هي إلها قصة. So a friend and I قعدنا عم نطلع هيك. هلا هو ما كبس ولا مرة وهو عارف شو عم بيصير يعني عارف اللعبة. وحسب لي اياها ورجاني قد ايه بتوقف معه الايتم وعد 0 point something وكذا بالنهايه بيطلع مطلع قدها دبل اتليست دبل. وقديش هو عم يخسر الاكشوال بيرسون اللي عم بيروح يدفع كارد وعم بيكبس قديش ان فاليو عم يخسر. قلت له بس في 10 names being listed وهولي they run out of bids. بيكون فايت من الاول السبق لنقول وعم بيكبس alright. So at some point بيخلصوا معه بعد ما خلص الوقت. So there's still time, there's still people هلا بيفوتوا يشتروا هلا بيكبسوا بكون هذاك exhausted الاماونت تبعيته ما بقى معه and he's out and he spent all that money for nothing. Okay? So عملت جافا سكريبت صغيرة بتطلع every time that someone presses بحط له اسمه and he count +1. So we count قديش هيدا الشخص صار له pressing and we figure out منها how much he has right now and knowing قديش فيك تشتري انت bids بالمصاري we compare انه هيدا خلص انحرق هيدا بعده هيدا فات جديد هيدا
That's very interesting.
تقعد تنطرن انت على الكاونتر. هي ماشي بس بتجيب ما هن غلطتهم انه حاطين exposing للفيلد تبع last bidder اسمه عاملينه بقلب السكريبت يعني. انا بعمل بس انه ريتريف بحطها هيك على السكرين بيطلع بيعمل counting.
Security breach.
أنا security breach. It's not. You didn't really get
No,
anything.
but the system is exposed. The system is exposed.
هي view source يعني من هي.
Yeah, بس إنه
It's the meaningful stuff that you're gonna get out of it لما تفهم how it works. بس it doesn't mean إنك ربحت أي شيء أو فيك تربح.
I understand.
لأنه ممكن يفوت واحد من بعده هلا اشترى أغراضه وهلا كبس. فما بتلحق أنت معه بيكونوا كلياتهم صارفين أغراضهم فات آخر شيء هو أخذ الأيتم. عرفت؟ So مش luck ومش skill. It's somewhere in between. So بيعمل لك counter عليهم كلهم بتصير هذا 700 هذا خلاص راح. تنطر بتشتري غراض بتكبس you get the item. بس he never got anything لأنه ما بيلعب هاي النوع الألعاب يعني. بس it was really interesting يعني لما كنا نقعد فوق من بعد ال hours just to try it.
أي سنة تقريبا؟
هذه من سنة. بعدين bid affairs سمعت فيه أنا. بس بتزيد was really I think بعده يعني. go on. كنت عم تخبرنا عن
هلا رح خبرك
مناقصات ما خاصة بهالشيء.
لا it was e-tendering online for governmental construction focused projects.
Oh, this is where people bid على مين ياخذ البروجكت.
هي المناقصات يعني.
Yes.
عن جد ناس
مش ايفون 6
لا
بطير.
لا. So let me fast forward ل 2003. Beginning 2003 I met بديع سيئلي and I joined them to launch and found Referred. Referred is the intention behind Referred as a startup was to streamline introductions between business people, sales professionals basically, in a meaningful way. Using a basic concept of private evaluation bin members, and then the algorithm will find whenever you need to get introduced or to reach and start a conversation with someone and you don't have their details, you can ask the platform or the app for introductions, and it will select based on the private algorithm. It will select the best person who's entitled to make this introduction. So, in a way, it will make the introduction more powerful and meaningful, and hence, as a result, you'll get business done and talk to the person. So, I spent 3 years working on Referred. We were in 2015. We launched beginning 2015. We launched the iOS app on the App Store, and May تقريبا 2015 we were selected by UK Lebanon Tech Hub accelerator program among 45 startups from the ecosystem to go through the acceleration program. At the end of it, 15 startups were qualified to go to phase 2 in London, and 10 startups qualified to stay for phase 2 in Lebanon. So we stayed in Lebanon. During this period, I've learned for the last 3 years, actively as a co-founder, I learned a lot, and especially during the last 6 months, there was a lot of customer discovery, business model validation, etc. And that has helped me a lot to finally decide that 3 years was very long enough and a pivot is needed. And when we kind of didn't agree, me and the other co-founder, I decided to step down.
About what the pivot should have been?
Yeah,
Well, whether we should pivot or not at all?
No, there was intention to pivot, but to pivot to what was taking way too much time. And
was it based on data, yani?
Yeah, absolutely. So part of what we did was customer discovery, meaning we go out and talk to people outside the building and understand their needs and what they are trying to do without mentioning the product that we've built or what we are trying to achieve. We actually tackle it from a tangent angle إذا بدك. يعني نحكي على النيدز تبعهم كيف عم يعملوا business. We talk to sales people نسألهم كيف عم تعملوا introductions, شو ال pain points تبعيتكم, شو التولز اللي عم تستعملون. We ask questions to see if they are ready to use something as similar as we are offering, or the solution we are offering is something that can be validated. And we extract data from all this. So you listen a lot, you don't try to sell people anything, and you make decisions based on the confidence level يلي بيصير يكتر شوي شوي.
I meant إنه هل كان ال pivot decision based on data that you saw إنه ولو شوف people don't want this in this way that we're doing it.
Absolutely.
They want it in another way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
كنت عم بتقول شغلة كمان انه اكثر شيء باخر 6 اشهر، فهل السبب انه لما صرتوا بتك هاب هذا الشيء اعطاكم possibilities اكثر، اعطاكم tools اكثر، ساعدوكم اكثر؟
Yeah, how did exactly Tech Hub help?
So absolutely, 2015 when we launched the app and we saw little traction and we started talking to a wider audience, يلي صار معه بذات الوقت هو فتنا على UK Lebanon Tech Hub and
Okay.
we got exposed to a lot of people, lots of opinions, and we realized that we really need to go back to the business model. And this is where the learning started, like again, customer discovery, doing the exercise and trying to understand ليش traction ما عم بيصير rather than fixing software and pushing it forward aggressively. لأنه this was not the problem. So we found out that there was a deeper problem that we need to fix. And this was the result of everything else that happened.
Can you talk about this problem?
Yeah, I don't mind. Specifically on...
يعني إنه لما تقول أنت إنه the software is fine as it works right now, but what it's doing is wrong.
No, it's not really wrong or right. It's actually... So the user is
يمكن في إشياء ما في clear يعني إنه.
So the user is trying to do X, Y, Z. What we realized, لا رح أقول لك شو كانت conclusion من الستاديز تبعنا أو الريسيرش اللي عملناه، هو إنه introductions is one tactic that salespeople use out of many to start a conversation. And introductions is just one tactic, is one tiny tactic that they run it in parallel to other tactics.
So maybe
يعني,
it was good انه يكون في كذا features مش بس الانترودكشن. يعني
it wasn't really about features. It wasn't really about features. يعني the intention was at the end of the day the value that we give back to the user إذا بده يستعمل هيك app هي to start a conversation مع الشخص اللي بده إياه. And we were not guaranteeing this. It was just one tactic. يعني في يلقط التليفون يتلفن لحدا مثلا بشي مطرح and the introduction could be made.
Sure, بس هذا it was obvious من الأول. أنت فكرك
هلا أنا عم سهلها كتير لأعطي the variety of tactics.
No. What I mean is obviously أنت you stepped over the fact أو you got over the fact إنه actually I know إنه في عالم that they can call up directly. بس there is no registry أو there is no phone book أو you don't even have the person's number. So your validation إنك أنت موجود كapplication و the need for you is already there.
بس عوداي we found out that people eventually, especially salespeople, you need to understand how they function. They have the resources they need. They use online tools to get numbers, emails, etc. But the way they
So
approach
your target is salespeople?
yes. So it was
I thought it was مثلا people
انا فكرت انه people عادي بس ما
people
بيعرفوا
مثل ما أنا يعني.
No, I didn't
with
say professional salespeople.
I think اذا بتعملها مثل ما انا فكرت او مثل ما عداي كان متخيل لانه هيك طلعت براسي.
It's like a
الأول
LinkedIn
I think
مصغر.
كان فينا تيجي اكثر يعني اذا انا ديفلوبر بس ما بعرف ديزاينر so it makes sense. بس السيلز بيبل اوريدي هو بيعرف عالم والا ما كان نجح بالسيلز وما كان صار سيلز.
ايه بس يمكن قصده انه something that can come into their field and revolutionize how they do work instead of having مثلا Rolodex or something like that.
So it's more than that, and I'm quite happy to go over it. But do we have
fine.
Do we have enough time? So let me briefly just explain how things happen. أول شيء, the term referrals varies between industries. مثلا بالmedical industry, referrals mean that a physician is actually recommending that you go and see another physician and report back the results. So what we found out, we need to target the audience لازم يكون كتير segmented and targeted لنبلش معه. ونحن our main the biggest experience we have هي مع salespeople. So this was our starting point, and we know that salespeople عندهم motivation لأنه they want to sell and they have commission. إذا عم نحكي for people to get referrals على designer or whatever, we have a concern about the frequency and whether they are able to pay for it or not, and how many times you need a designer in a year.
ايه من بعد ما استعملك وتعرفني عليه I don't really need
so
you.
نحن الانتنشن تبعنا هي frequent use and delivering value immediately لحتى نقدر to charge for it, okay, and make money. And we know the pain, قديش البين كبير كنا عم نجرب نروح عليه. Sales people, they have a lot of pain trying to sell and talk to people. كم مرة حدا من تيلي ماركتينج بتلفنوا لكم بيقولوا لكم بدنا نبيعك بتسكر خط بوجهه. So this was a cold call, and we wanted to avoid this and try to get people, يعني bring people together in a faster way, and the right introductions can do that. So eventually we found out no, this was one way out of many, and the market the market type was important لأنه it was a resegmented market, which means
Lebanon?
No, عم نحكي the audience تبعنا. So
were you targeting Lebanon into?
So originally we were targeting construction specific industries or regions اللي هن GCC and the MENA region. So هاي الاكسبيرينس تبعنا أكثر شيء
كثير precise هيك، ومش إنه والله إيه بلبنان وبكرة بنكبة إنه عارف بالضبط وين رايح وكذا. I think it's very scientific the way you stopped معهم أو whatever happened. But no, you did it based on something. يعني you're not gonna regret it بعد يوم or بعد سنة or بعد ever, because ما في يعني ما كان في قرارات فلسفية يعني. It's based on that.
No, it's
خلص ما زبط.
Absolutely.
Sorry boy.
Okay. وبتفكر ترجع تفوت بهيدا الدومين بدومين انك اذا فكرة ستارت اب حلوة ترجع تشتغلها وترجع تعيش الاكسبيرينس.
Yeah, where are you on that?
So right now
so
I'm trying to think about things in a different way, rather than saying this is an interesting startup and I want to work on that or I want to start something new. I take a scientific approach مثل ما كان عم بيقول عداي. After reading the Startups Owner's Manual by Steve Blank and Bob Dorff, and I think it's a recommended book that anyone who's thinking about starting a business لازم يقروا. They need to understand the scope of a startup. It's not an easy journey. It's one of the toughest jobs in the world, being in a startup. So دايما I look to في كتير ideas. There are a lot of opportunities, and you need to be always asking the right questions and trying to find out a need, if you can find a solution for it, and whether the market size is big enough for this opportunity to jump into. So nowadays I'm more making my decisions more educated based on that. And I don't mind في كتير أفكار بتعقد, and I would love to start something
on that note,
work on something else.
On that note, هلا أنا صرت هلا in this state that I'm in والexperience اللي صارت معي. أنا اشتغلت مع رودي، اشتغلت مع another startup. رودي مشي حالها, others not so much. بس شفت first hand how difficult it is to run a company. I know how difficult it is to run it into something much larger. So I've reached a conclusion إنه there is no need for me to be thinking personally, to be thinking about مثلا let me start something new وبكرة يصير شركة. I don't need to go into the fight مع شيء جديد. It's so difficult to run a company and to start a company. Just go help somebody who already did it. The point is not to start something new. Just help the current ones stay alive.
Absolutely.
تيجي تزيد كمان يعني عليهم انه مش بس انتوا عم تتعبوا هات لكلنا نتعب سوا. لا, put your energy مع حدا already بلش.
Absolutely. There are many interesting startups around here, especially in Lebanon. يعني مش بس region wide, and many opportunities. And if you really want to channel your energy and knowledge and learn new skills, go and help startups succeed.
Synchronize مع حدا already
You will learn
بلش.
tons of stuff.
Because people love هاي الموtion of starting a startup. إنه عم نعمل ونشيل. That's why so few last. And when it comes to real actual work, قديش عم تقعد بالنهار أنت meetings و talking about your startup. Where is the startup يا خي؟ وين على الشغل اللي عم تعمله؟ ما حدا قليل يعني مع عالم that put the actual work down. Yeah. So that's refer.
هاي المشكلة اللي عم بتصير هلا إنه بمرحلة معينة مثل كأنها wave.
It is.
عرفت
موضة.
ما هيدي هي. وإذا بس إذا بتفكر ستارت أبس منا إنه شغلة جديدة. هي يمكن من 100 سنة ومن مئات
every
السنين.
company is a startup.
every company بلش ستارت اب. كل فكرة جديدة ستارت اب. يمكن حتى قبل اختراع الكمبيوتر.
The Kenji start up.
Exactly.
Any venture is a startup.
Let's not oversimplify it.
كلمة يعني بس
بالعكس أنا lean startup بيقول هالحكي إنه everything is a startup.
بس هي فكرة. لا بس عن جد لأنه صارت ترندي وصرنا نسمع فيها هلا فكرنا إنه كلمة ستارت اب شغلة جديدة أو شغلة من 5 سنين أو لما اخترعوا هيدي اللانجويج. بس ستارت اب is a concept. واللي بيقرأ كتب بزنس بينتبه إنه لا, كلمة ستارت اب إنه هي شغلة بالبزنس معروفة بس ما كانت الهايب مثل فكرة البوتس مثلا نقول IRC بوتس أو whatever. ما كان. هلا العالم تسمع بالبوتس بس ما حدا إنه نسبياً أقل بيعرفوا إنه كان في شيء اسمه IRC bots من زمان و whatever.
I think that's the issue with most of the things بالعالم. Everything has existed in some way or form in the past. في شيء كم بدي أقوله عن قصة ستارت أبس وهاي الموضة بلبنان. أنا وجو رحمة وصلنا على مطرح على شيء كوميدي إنه فيك تعمل سبورتس أناليسيز للوضع تبع ستارت أبس بلبنان. هيدا فات مع هون وهيدا joining this team وهيدا طلع من هون. وفي عنا هلا وفي عنا مع كتر الكومبيتيشنز يا زلمة بتفوت كومبيتيشن وهاي كومبيتيشن وواحد ربح من هون.
نعمل ويب سايت هيك فور فن.
وفي عندك سيريال وفي عندك السيريال انتربرنور اللي بيفوت من ستارت اب لستارت اب. He calls himself a serial entrepreneur. He has not reached the fruit of any of them.
Like we need a lot of failures before we can get to a stage where
need much more seriousness.
Yes, before we get to more serious startups and scalable startups. And I think there are some serious players on the ground without naming names.
في عالم مش
startups عم بحكي some entities helping the ecosystem to drive it in this direction. بتعرف بدي accelerate.
I think
circular 331
UK Tech Hub is one of them صراحة.
I totally agree.
لأنه some of the good startups that I know, that's where you were as well, are there. أنت يعني شخص I believe إنه can produce something واللي already بعرفهم they are there already.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
ولو شيء ثاني إنه وصلنا هلا لسلاك خلصنا referred وهيك. والله كتير مرق الوقت بسرعة كوستا. كتير
I think I talk too much.
بالعكس خد وقتك.
لا we're here يعني.
Thank you. بس كنت حابب أرجع على موضوع
سلاك.
Slack group. So that's a very interesting initiative that everybody is putting their time and energy into it. And I'd like to talk about it for a couple of minutes. So الفكرة هي بلشت beginning 2015.
على فكرة بس شغلة صغيرة عم أطشق لأنه عم بتخيل الأودينس اللي ما بيعرفوا سلاك. يعني أنا عم فكر بالوايدر أودينس شوي. إذا فيك تعمل small introduction شيء عن سلاك شو هي الجروب بترجع تاخذ وقتك تحكي details.
Okay, so Slack is a
ما
software
بيعرف.
is a chatting software. It's a better IRC اللي بيعرف للتكيز اللي بيعرفوا شو معنات IRC. Better user experience as user interface. It has like channels and it's focusing on team communication. The idea became widely popular لأنه they allowed like everybody to create teams and join for free on a freemium base. And it became widely popular لأنه people exchange a lot of emails to say simple stuff, and they can do that online in a certain room where everybody in the team is present, whether they are remote or in the same office. So better communication within a team is at the core of Slack. So اللي عملناه هو it started becoming popular end of 2014 أو شيء هيك. Beginning 2015, I was working from home alone on Referred, and I built the entire tech stack, technical stack of Referred plus the mobile app. So I was doing a lot of the technical work from home, and I needed to connect with techies.
Somebody, anybody.
Exactly, it was
being.
very difficult. I needed to talk to people. And also I needed to hire for Referred لأنه بهذيك الوقت كنا بلشنا I need someone to help me out on different levels. And also, doing business development at Referred كمان part of being co-founder. I was interested in how referrals work in real life. So I started early on, قبل 2015, to do introductions between people and facilitate that and read more about this topic, etc. So it came as I invited a couple of people I know, like up to 15 or 20, the initial people. And it catched up like wildfire. The thing is, you can invite anyone you want to the group and let's talk about technical stuff and share links and discuss topics. And we're now like 158 members. Not all of them are active on a day-to-day basis, but we kind of have a place where we can talk to each other without boundaries, like a virtual community. And we spend a lot of time there. And I think the next step would be to capitalize on this presence and move from the virtual world into the face-to-face world and do more activities, like the meetup coming on the 3rd of May at All City.
اوكي هلا نحن بنحط الساين اب فورم تبع الميت اب و we hope انه whoever's listening who is available for the meet up to join us. شو بدنا نعمل lightning talks هونيك. That's the actual value يعني من هيك talk.
So meeting
you think انه يعني it would become valuable الواحد يجي على هيك meet up for the lightning talks ما aside from being able to connect with the community and the personal aspect, بس the actual value انه يكون في lightning talks.
So the core of the meetup هو أول شيء لحتى لي نحن على virtual community to meet face to face and exchange knowledge. You start putting a face to a name in a real life scenario. The second thing here, to spice things up, we have a lot of knowledge to share, and the best place here to channel it using meetups. So this is not a new concept. So Lab Geeks used to do that, lightning talks before in meetups. I was just trying to replicate this success because it was really, really good and limited in time. So you can do it within a meetup. So a lightning talk would be around 5 minutes and then 2 other minutes for Q&A. And we can catch up with the speakers afterwards بالmeetup لحتى نسأل more about the topic. الفكرة هي إذا حدا عمل له شي new hack or عنده شي side projects عم يشتغل عليه.
I was gonna get to that. عندي side project would anybody like to join يعني,
Absolutely. So you can demo it. There are 3 lightning talks. Moderated, so نحكي مع المودerator about this talk and we try to improve it as much as possible and fit it within the 5 minutes time limit. And you're free to demo, present, live code, whatever you want within 5 minutes. And this is an opportunity to target this audience and bring them on board. I want to highlight the fact that these meetups or lightning talks are purely technical and they have nothing to do with la entrepreneurs, wala startups, wala anything related to that.
I think there's enough of that going around.
Yeah, so it's purely
And not
around-
enough of this going around.
It's purely around knowledge sharing within the tech industry or software development and designers industries of it.
حلو. I think Lab Geeks were able to get حدا من فيسبوك هذيك the last time they had it.
Yes.
بنت
And
الأخبار.
I remember the guy, yeah.
في حدا
Security.
بيتكلم security.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
Yeah, it was very, very interesting. I was a speaker. I had a lightning talk at
بنفس
this.
النهار؟
Yes.
I had one when عملوها بألت City about the fear of programming.
Oh, wow.
It was a hit. People love listening to the psychology behind difficult things.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Right.
Never got to watch this one. I
Oh,
will
you
definitely.
I
look it
really
up.
like it. ما كنت على طبيعتي يعني I was nervous وهيك. It's not like now يعني بس إنه it was really good. طيب خبرنا بعد عن what you do day to day. بعد ما حكينا مثلا أنت you still do Ruby?
So I still code in Ruby, and I do a bit of Node. I moved a bit on the front end. كمان I do a bit of Angular and
سؤال
React
صريح
JS.
طيب. هل كوستا عم بروح على الكونسلتنسي أكتر من الكودينج؟ أو هل أنت جواتك بتحب توصل لمطرح تكون كونسلتنسي أكتر من كودر؟
No, not really. Not at all. I still love coding, and whenever I think about a solution, I love to pull out my laptop and sit down and actually
Try it out.
yeah. No, I love this aspect of or the freedom that it gives me. On the consultancy level, it's more like I don't know. I haven't experienced it a lot, but I'd rather help teams in the sense of organizing workshops, like I do with a couple of companies, بركي to mentor other people or be mentored كمان. But I don't quite like the consultancy aspect.
كان بدك تخبرنا شوي عن روبي اون ريلز هيك شوي
Yeah.
شوي حتى شوي تكنيكال لو فتت وكومبير تو اذر لانجويجز خصوصا انه انت يعني اوريدي اشتغلت بكذا لانجويج سو فيك تعطينا براكتيكال اكزامبلز او شيء انه بشو هي احسن.
So عم نحكي عن الفريم ورك as a Ruby on Rails
Ruby on
MVC
Rails
framework أو كلانجويج as a Ruby.
لا كفريم ورك.
Okay.
About the 20-minute blog thing يعني how fast is it really?
ولا بيقولوا عنها
So
To get
yeah,
up and
originally
running.
it was
very
so
بتساعد productivity يعني.
الفكرة هي إنه DHH أخذ best practices used around and he looked at different languages. He started building this using PHP, but he got some roadblocks originally. So he shifted to different languages, and he came across Ruby, and Ruby on Rails made Ruby extremely popular. But the fact that Ruby on Rails is built using Ruby gave it the speed and the generators that you can create quickly with the framework. So بلشت الشغلة هي إنه with the scaffolding as easy as possible. يعني you input the model, the class name of the model you want, and the fields or the attributes of the class that you want, and it will scaffold a view, a controller using best practices, REST interface, and all the HTML, everything that you can boot. Like you can just start a server and start using this scaffolded code, and it will generate a migration that with one command can create the table and all the columns and fields in the database and map everything in between. So added on top of that هو associations بين المودلز اللي اجت in plain English, like a user has many مثلا cars. Let's say عندك a user class and a car class, and then you associate those classes or those models by simple syntax. And this gave it the edge over other frameworks.
هلا مشان هيك لارافيل هلا عم يستعمل تقريبا كل هول. I think أخذوا من روبي.
So absolutely.
يعني
Symfony بلشت.
generators قصة الهاز ماني belongs to. وأنا لأنه كنت استعمل PHP قبل لارافيل كنت وقت نقلت للارافيل حسيت إنه قديه في فرق وقديه إنه هاز ماني و belongs to والمودلز كيف مربوطين ببعض بيساعد. So it really helps كتير.
ليك بعد the Ruby syntax is even more pleasant to read than the PHP syntax. يعني if you look at a Ruby on Rails application
أو شيء بدل ما يكون
لا
في
it's
إنه
يعني method calling and the syntax basically is quite
تعطي small
easy.
examples لو كان technical لأنه بالنهاية it's technical.
So the dot, the method calling using dot, and I think in PHP you use a
دوت مثل C++ نذكر كانت دوت. جافا.
let me think of something.
فيها
Let me,
السهم بالPHP.
ايه بس
C++ كان فيها السهم.
ايه بس مش مثل البايثون برو.
مش Python is like Python is quite
جانجو اسمه كمان كتير بيحكوا عنه
بس بدنا ننتبه انه جانجو is targeting different يعني عنده غير features لغير عالم مش معناتها Python is not good. Actually Python and Ruby are in the same category and the syntax is amazing.
كوستا هلا بدك تولع الدنيا انت.
No, in terms of syntax I do write in Python as well, so
Okay.
I know.
You're free to go.
No, I use Python definitely.
Anyway, جاي عمر ابو مراد نعرف بكره شو يعني بايثون.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Like we've had this talk before. So.
هلا عمر عم يسمع جاي ما حدا خبرني. لا عمر قريبا حضر حالك.
يلا هيدي فلاش نيوز.
Hey, go on.
So هيدي واحدة من الأشياء اللي made Ruby on Rails quite easy to use and to adopt. Plus إنه هالspeed in building up something and get it up and running and deploy it very quickly helped a lot of startups to quickly prototype and change rather than being locked away into a certain technology أو هيك. Plus it enforced test-driven development from the beginning. لأنه الفريمورك إجت مع التستينج test unit framework at the beginning. يعني مجرد لما تعمل scaffolding لكل هيدول اللي قلناهم الموديل فيو والكنترولر it also generates empty tests so you can start working with that. And that has made the quality of the software that you deliver with Ruby on Rails at the beginning extremely good and robust. And then بلشت الاشياء تنزل. بس الفريمورك
كمان يمكن انه في كثير جامز اللي هو
yes, so distribution of libraries using Ruby gems للنود fans it's like npm بس early days يعني npm is copied from Ruby gems which is also copied من Perl cpan بتصور.
عم نضلنا نرجع هلا شو
اللي هو رجع من
في قصص
رجع من الباكج مانجر تبعه
رجع على وقتها عصر الحجري كان عم بزت.
لا بيكون كان معه سلة حجر هي الباكج مانجر.
كان يوزعون على فلوبي بالاول.
شو كان بدي اسال شيء سؤال جاهل شوي انه انا ما عاد عم بسمع يعني كان في فتره بس من جهه واحد بيسمع ما كنت اسمع Ruby on Rails for a long while and never heard it again. صرت اسمع Angular. Do they achieve the same thing?
No, it has.
Okay. طيب Ruby on Rails مش هي framework للويب؟
It's an MVC framework. يعني you can use it definitely. It's web oriented يعني.
طيب. وAngular.
Yeah, but driving
so far they're the same.
الموتيفيشن behind Angular is different.
disclaimer عداي هو اندرويد ديفلوبر سو اي شيء بيحكي
I should be in favor of Angular.
لا بس Angular I think it's a front end هو جافا سكريبت based on JavaScript so كان عم تشتغل جافا سكريبت
so you can do Ruby on Rails and still do the UI.
So you can build the backend using Ruby on Rails and change the views to use a different framework for the views. Okay, you can use HTML or templating.
السؤال الأساسي هو إنه ليش ما بقى عم نسمع Ruby on Rails؟
Like it's a hype بس مش معناتها ما عم تستعمل. Basecamp is built purely using Ruby on Rails. 500 pix is built using Ruby on Rails. IAM is built using Ruby on Rails. Twitter originally was.
IAM app. It's app website.
Yeah.
Okay.
Airbnb is built on Rails.
How
Many
do you
platforms.
know?
I know because I just happen to know.
Okay.
They're well known يعني. بس الفكرة اللي بيصير هو once you scale, يعني Ruby on Rails helps coming from a prototype that changes a lot from a monolithic app to a bigger app that with microservices architecture or any other architecture. And then once you start scaling, بتصير تجيب يعني you start using different tools and your ecosystem بتصير hybrid أكتر. بتصير تستعمل أشياء ما خاصة بروبي. بتصير you're replacing components. You need different database backend أو whatever. So بتصير شوي الأشياء to fade away أو you can build upon it.
طيب قديش
We have to keep in mind sorry أضيع مقطع. You have to keep in mind that Ruby on Rails is an open source software. يعني it's evolving around building blocks and how the web is or the ecosystem is evolving. And دايما العالم they're contributing to it and helping it improve etc.
Yeah.
So
السؤال هو
I don't think it's fading away بس.
ولا أنا يعني بس إنه I simply stopped hearing about إنه use Ruby on Rails. It was before إنه واو كل شيء. وهذا the Japanese guy اللي عمل
Mats he's the Ruby creator.
السؤال هو إنه how much freedom تترك لك أنت. How much does it abstract to how much freedom does it leave to you?
So Ruby on Rails promotes convention over configuration, and you don't have to worry about when حاطط configuration file etc. It kind of creates all these configuration files for you to go and change the details تبعهم. بس بتخلقهم بالمطرح اللي لازم يكون موجود فيهم والframework والengines بيفهموا إنه الviews هن under the views object name or class name folder. عرفت كيف؟ You can override that, but you have to go back and modify the gem or the library that does that. that تقول له مثلا الفايل موجود بهذا فلان المطرح الفلاني rather than where it's expecting it to be.
مثل شي mega starter framework.
Absolutely.
Gets you up and running.
Absolutely. But you can add to it like PowerPoints and
open source
and power tools and stuff. Yeah.
أنا بلاقي هيدي الشغلة حلوة إنه إذا الشخص مشتغل structure يمكن حكينا بديتيلز من حلقتين 3 عن structure والاركيتكتشر إنه يكون في ستاندرد. بس إنه إذا حدا عامل framework بطريقة إنه مرتبة فهذا بيساعد إذا كان عندك تيم. يمكن اللي عندهم تيم بيحسوا بالبنفيت تبعها أكتر ما شخص عم يشتغل لحاله. لأنه هلأ إذا شخص عم يشتغل لحاله عم يسمعنا بيقول لا أنا بحب الكونفيجريشن تكون ما بعرف وين أنا الفيوز بدي أعملها هيك. ما راح يحس قد إيه له أدفانتج لما أنت يكون عندك تيم إنه قد إيه بتريح.
Absolutely. بعدين ما تنسوا إنه البست براكتسز بالاندستري كلها انحطت يعني نقوا الأشياء الأفضل وحطوها بالفريمورك. So you kind of assume إنه يعني I don't need to worry about مثلا الكنترولر تبعي إنه not to respond in a certain way and I need to configure. لا, you kind of like خلاص you take it for granted and you move on. When you are incorporating or installing an authentication gem, a library, once you include it on a certain controller or on a certain view, خلاص بتعرف إنه this is protected. You don't have to dig deeper. And but you can dig deeper.
طيب سؤال صريح ان شاء الله معي بالشغل ما يسمعوا السؤال بس انا بسمع كثير بالام في سي وكل هالقصص بس الام في سي I know it's a concept بس what is it really. اعطيك اليوز كيس تبعتي انا باندرويد في XML فايل بقلبه بس XML بيطلع بس منظر ما له اي functionality. في عندي كلاس اسمه user قلبه بس كلاس مع getters و setters و maybe it has a get instance أو it's a singleton or something like that بس منه شيء خاصه بالمنظر والbusiness logic. وبعدين عندي مطرح اسمه .java where I have a set layout بصير عندك أنت منظر and then grab from the layout a view in code and make it do this on a click. مين الفيو والموديل والكنترولر هون؟ الفيو هو الXML ما؟
هلا ما بتصور
في MVC باندرويد لا شك. They talk about it but I'm not exactly sure.
اليوزر هو الموديل.
اليوزر هو الموديل. This I put it
نعمل connect مع الداتابيز.
I put it أنا بباكج اسمه موديل بحط اليوزر
XML layout هي الفيو بتعرف فيها الفيو والدوت جافا هو الكنترولر لأنه عم تعمل set للفيو منه وهو عم يعمل access على اليوزر.
Okay so I'm already MVC.
يعني بس منه مسميين بالضبط انه موديل وكنترولر.
طب
منه يعني مش 100%.
ليه؟
ليك it's a convention that you use ليك
كيف انا فيني اليوم صير MVC؟
بدك تقدم بتروح على وزارة العدل.
تعطيك طلب.
منيحة.
So an
Don't
MVC.
force it إذا ما بتعوزها.
I want to know what it is. I know it. بعرف حالي إني بعرفها. بس it's not like the stuff that I read أنا على البلوجز واللي بيصيروا يقولوا MVVC.
Angular يمكن هيك.
It's something.
هيك العرف MVVM. واو عمر بهدلني.
Basically,
عمر يخبرني عنه.
it's a best practice and it's a design pattern that you need to follow to structure your code in a certain way. The core of it, the main benefit is separation of concerns. يعني وقت بتفوت على الموديل, you know that a model only deals with retrieving data and storing data على
أكيد.
على هذا الobject and its attributes. When you want to serve مثلا أو get a collection of these objects and serve them to a view لتفرجيهم للuser, you use the controller. So بتقول أنا I want to get the first 10 records أو بدي أجيب كل الrecords اللي they match XYZ. You do the query and return it. You fill a variable or whatever.
صح.
And return it to the view using the controller.
How else are you going to do things?
So this is a best practice. في كتير عالم
يمكن لأنه
if you
I
don't follow this, you fall into bad
I think it's
practices.
I think it's
How
because
else يعني بنفس الجافا إذا بدك. How else يعني هو اللي
ما
عم
تنسى.
نحكيهم بثلاثة فايلز بيصيروا فايل واحد.
ممكن أنا أخلق بالجافا عندي programmatically reviews. I can do that. إذا عملت هيك هذا ببطل MVC وما بقى في layout XML.
ليك عم نفوت كتير بال what qualifies to be an MVC.
ما هذا اللي عم بسأله أنا. I'm already MVC يعني.
I think having a look at the code will give us a better look. لأنه بدك تطلع شو عم يعمل الكود. There's a famous saying that goes like fat models, thin controllers, and dumb views. لأنه the view you can use HTML, you can use an XML file, you can use any endpoint to
That's what I
deliver.
try to
so
achieve.
it shouldn't be related to the model class. يعني الموديل class ما المفروض يعرف شيء عن the view. And
Yes.
the controller is the link between them.
طيب سؤال اللي بعده الداتا بايندينج. You know
عم نحكي
الداتا
عن
بايندينج
يعني
لا داتا بايندينج باندرويد اللي هو بيقول انه هالفيو that's just like angular. بالفيو تحط انت بالفيو بتحط ال HTML انه this view عنده equal dollar the object. So this view knows انه جاييني انا user object.
yeah.
عرفت؟ So دغري بياخد change name it changes name بالtext view تبعك.
Yeah, but
مش
that's
هيدا صار انه
هيدا
كتير hooked up يعني
coupling.
كثير coupling انه
Yeah.
لا اذا بدي اقعد
I think
اغير
this
شيء
is
انا
intentional لأنه
رياكت او شيء اللانجويج رياكت جي اس بيعملوا هذا الكونسبت او رياكت كونسبت اسمه هذا الشيء بعتقد.
so الفكرة هون من اللي عم تقوله هو it is a problem يعني كيف how do you send data and retrieve it between JavaScript and HTML to display to the user? I think this is a common problem to be solved and people use frameworks or different ways to
But
solve
okay,
it. But it's not. It has. I don't think it qualifies to be to fit within the MVC framework. Maybe this is more, and maybe I need to dig deeper into the meaning
هي
of it.
الديفولت اندرويد هيك بيقولوا عنا نشتغل
Okay.
للعالم اللي بعدها
بس
نبلش
do they call
دغري
it-
بيشرحوا له
Is there a design
XML.
pattern that follows this? That
بس يعني انت ما عم بتشوفها انه هيدي ام في سي قصدك؟ لانه انا وقت شرحها دغري فكرت الاكس ام ال لانه انا مشتغل شويه
no, I agree. بس على عم يحكي عن data binding.
هلا صار
اوه
بايندينج اوكي
نو ايه انا قصدي الارجيومنت ان داتا بايندينج بريكس ذس يعني صار الاكس ام ال متوقع اوبجكت من الموديل وهيداك بيقول بالكنترولر انه هوك ذس اب تو ذس الثلاثه صاروا دريانين واتس جوينج اون.
بس بعضهم مفصولين بس انت قررت تربطهم بس بعض السيبريت اوف كونسيرن
انا بخاف اعملها ما يصير مربوط كتير يعني وقوم اعمل بدي change in the user model لنقول I have to change the name بكل المحلات.
Like
يعني
that's a
insane.
very interesting question.
ما بعرف وين البنفيت يعني.
I think we need to look it up further, and I'm sure this is going to be a great topic to discuss during the meetup next week.
منا
No, there are many front-end gurus in our community, and we
I
need to
can
talk
ask-
to them.
I can ask about
that would be great.
طيب وصلنا على الساعة والله كتير حلو الحكي معك كوستا هيك مرقت بسرعة.
Thank you guys.
طيب يلا نقي رقم هيك راندوم.
Oh, I did.
بدك تقولها طب دوت جيت نمبر
21.
21 اوكي 21 هلا هيدا الرقم يا كوستا اللي بيقولوا proves to us اذا قالوا على سلاك او اذا شافنا مثلا مرحبا I give 21 This is a code إنه بتعرف أنت إنه والله سمع هو episode 8 till the end.
awesome.
حلو واحد يعمل شغله انه ما يسمع الابيسود بس يشوف الويفز تبعهم ويعمل سيستم بيلقط الويف نقي رقم وبس هاي بياخذها.
خبرك
or even a dumber system هي to go to the end of the podcast. شو هو الرقم؟ اوكي.
ساعات بنحط رقم بالاول وبنكمله بالاند مثل اللي عندهم مفاتيح الخزنه ما بيكون في واحد ضايع.
خبرك انكدوت صغيره هيك
كريبتوغرافي هلا.
نكته صغيره او اكشلي هي رياليتي. يعني اشتغلت من زمان كتير انا بمحل بيعمل سبتايتلينج لافلام. So الترجمه is a department, syncing up ترجمه مع الحكي on the screen is a department, etc. until the movie is out. Production بيبعتوا لها show time or whatever. أنا كنت عم بشتغل بالsynchronized department اسمه sync department. So what we do is بنقلع software معين, we load the movie, we load the subtitles. بنقلع الموفي بصير ماشي هو هالموفي وبيقوم بيفتح تمه الكاركتر. بس يفتح تمه you have to press the space button until what he's saying is over. بس تشيل إصبعك تختفي subtitles. So بس تحضر أفلام بالبيت إنه شو بقى هذا السبتايتلر عم يطلعوا out of sync or something like that.
Yeah.
So that was our job. كانوا يعملوها على أساس what they hear. يحطوا الهيدفونز يطلع الصوت يقوم يكبس هو على السريع. ممكن يغلط أو ممكن ما كان عم ينتبه هو أو راحت أو فتح الباب something like that. جيت أنا entrepreneur فتحت التابز قلت له شو analyzer أو شو هول السبايكس اللي بيطلعوا إلهم اسم. أنا شاغل أوديو لازم يكون عندي visualizer. there we go. شو visualizer بصير بيعمل سبايك لما يطلع صوت. بيقولوا لي هن إيه بس بركي طلع باب أو شيء ما فيك to be sure. قلت له بيطلع باب كم مرة بيطلع باب بالغلطة كم مرة بتغلط. يعني صرت بس يوصل سبايك بس هيك تطلع تمشي. مدري شو كانوا يقولوا لي بس منا منيحة. يعني شوف قديش they're resisting change على أي level إنه أنا بسهل لك شغلك man. بس شوف الفيجواليزر بوس كبسي.
Absolutely.
فهذه على سبايك.
That's a great
entrepreneurial spirit. عم لك من الأول أنا كان بدي أعمل شركة عليها هيدي. I think that wraps it up. بسطنا كتير الحكي معك كوستا. إن شاء الله we'll have you soon. لأنه we talked about the topic-based coder voice where you come in and talk about a specific issue. فبتصير shorter بس هيك condensed أكتر. يعني هيك شوي بلشنا كود اليوم بس بدنا بعد بس يعني.
Guys يعطيكم ألف عافية. I really love what you're doing and I think it's delivering أو making us feel more connected هيك virtually مع غير عالم. And I love your podcast and keep doing this. I thought we're gonna mention a job.
A job. keyword. شو بيعملوا keyword؟ خبرنا هيك بشوية صغيرة.
So keyword is an agency plus production house. They're present in 16 countries around the world. Their main development team تقريبا 18 plus ببيروت, based بين بيروت ومونريال. And they're hiring backend developer in Lebanon, Beirut, and they have other jobs on keyword.com. Very interesting team, very interesting environment. They use the latest tools. They're very evolving. So هن basically very tech على المتحف.
Nice.
So عندهم 3rd, 5th and 7th floor. And probably they're expanding أكثر. And they have very interesting projects going on. I know them because I'm good friends with them. So I highly recommend getting in touch with them.
طيب we'll post the job listing بالdescription among other things مثل the owner's handbook لstartups.
Startup owners manual.
Okay, we'll do that.
اوكي بس قبل ما نختم بدي نرجع نذكر انه نحن على ايتونز, ستيتشر راديو, you can follow us وعلى تويتر وعلى فيسبوك. فfollow up واذا عجبكم البودكاست you can retweet and share.
leave a like.
شو؟
leave a like.
اوكي انشغل.
leave a like.
اوكي شغله ثانيه كمان نرجع نذكر بالميت اب حيكون السبت الجاي.
سبت بيكون؟
السبت الجاي مش سبت؟
30th. لا we'll check.
اوكي ب 30 الشهر. كمان نحن ككودر فويس حنكون موجودين. كمان اشخاص من السلاك جروب راح يكونوا موجودين. بدكم تلتقوا نحن we will be there. ورح نعمل اكيد رح نحط اللينك على بالديسكربشن.
All right, well, that's it. See you next time, guys. Bye.